Looks like we're in good shape. I think I'll kick it off. So first of all, good morning and thank you all for joining this morning's webinar. This is hosted in collaboration with the team at Meet Boston. Discover New England and Meet Boston, for those of you who are not familiar, we've joined forces to develop the Mexico market, which is a region that we have not had presence in previously. This is a very different strategy, opening up a new market than it would be to develop and grow an existing market. So we have been working to build relationships with key members of the media, trade, airline industries, and we're now at the point where we've gotten the key players in Mexico's attention, and many now understand how Boston and New England are different from destinations like Miami and Dallas, and how our audience is also different from Miami and Dallas. And they now have a better understanding of the type of clients that our destination appeals to. So we do have a unique opportunity to position Boston in the region deliberately as a four-season destination, really with an equal weight on winter travel versus summer travel, and to showcase our cultural diversity to its fullest. So we can coach media and travel professionals to present the ease and the value of combining a city stop thoughts for a few nights between the countryside and seeing the different landscapes and the main streets that are also within reach of Boston within our 6 states. So arrivals from Mexico have been ticking up consistently, which our speakers today will go into, and it's been exciting to see the momentum in media coverage and product adoption for Boston and New England over the past couple of years. And it's accelerated quite a bit this spring. It's so important for the most influential media, travel advisors, and trade to experience our region firsthand. And I can tell you that the majority of the folks that we've been building relationships with have not been to our region before. So we do plan to escalate our FAM program for this fall and mostly next spring as well, by bringing in a delegation of operators for the Summit and Marketplace this coming March, as well as hosting a group media FAM this spring to experience Boston and New England's winter. So we also hope to entice individual press trips as we confirm them. So hosting these VIP guests really is a great way for all of you to get involved and to have direct access to the market as well. So please be on the lookout for outreach from Boston, the Boston team, as well as the state teams on any journalists and operators we're able to bring in. So to take this development strategy into the next phase, this past spring, we have signed on a team at Another, who's the company that was presenting the market update this morning. Before we start, I just wanted to give a couple quick updates and housekeeping updates. This webinar is being recorded, and we will share it out on our website under the past training section of our website, discovernewengland.org, afterwards. And we'll also send an email out to anyone who's RSVP'd for this conference. You can share it with your colleagues and so forth. Carrie Tripp and my team will be helping to monitor the chat feature, and we will encourage that you all put questions in there. If there's time at the end of the presentation, and regardless, we're willing to stay on afterwards to go through those questions for anyone who is able to stay on after. So to share more about their company and the state of the market and the strategies for Boston and New England and all of our partners throughout the region, I would like to introduce our Mexico representation from Another, Carolina Tresvina and Gabriel Fuertes. So I'll turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for being this morning with us. For those who don't know us, and as Michelle mentioned, I am Carolina Tresvina from Another, the agency representing Discover New England and Meet Boston in Mexico. Together with Gabriel Fuertes this morning, we're going to work across public relations, travel, trade, and strategic partnerships for the Mexican market. So today our goal is to give you practical understanding of Mexico. We will explain who the Mexican traveler is, how they plan and purchase travel, and where do we see the strongest opportunity for Boston and New England. The main message is that Mexico already creates significant demand for travel to the US. However, New England is still relatively a new option for the Mexican travelers. The opportunity is not to reach every traveler in Mexico, it is to reach the right traveler, someone experienced with higher purchasing power who wants culture, food, nature, distinctive accommodations, and a more complete journey through the US. We will also share what we are learning from Mexican travel companies and media, and what New England partners can do to help us to turn interest into actual visitation. So we can go to the next slide. We have organized the presentation into 4 sections. First, we will give you economic and demographic context from the market. Second, we will look at the Mexican traveler, how they research quickly, how they quickly make decisions to travel. Third, we will explain the travel industry in a more deeper way. We identify the channels that can deliver results. And finally, we will discuss consumer awareness and practical actions that take decisions and that take destinations, hotels, and attractions so they can better serve this market. The presentation moves from general market to very specific recommendations for Boston and New England. So I started with the market overview. Mexico has a large population, as most of you already know, also a young or an urban consumer base. However, the full population is not the target market for New England. Income in Mexico it's very unequal. International traveler, especially to a region such as New England, is concentrated among upper and middle class, high income households. These consumers are mostly concentrated in Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Querétaro, among other important cities in central and northern Mexico. It is important to understand that income deciles and socioeconomic levels have different measurements, but help us to the same general pattern, addressable audience in a smaller scale rather than the total population. These travelers often have previous experience in the United States. They might have visited familiar destinations in California, Florida, Texas, maybe New York, Las Vegas. Because of this experience, they are ready to consider something different, a distinctive destination. So for New England, this should not be treated as a mass opportunity or a simple weekend trip proposition. A New England vacation is closer to planning maybe a trip to Alaska, maybe a road trip through California, for us a summer to Spain, rather than planning a quick visit to Miami, San Diego, Austin, as Michelle mentioned earlier. It requires more explanation, more planning, a stronger understanding of the geography, maybe the seasons, but it can also attract a traveler who stays longer, that visits more places, more destinations within one trip, and spend on more meaningful experiences. We can go to the next one, and I'm going to pass it to Gabriel.
Thank you, Caro. Well, Mexico is a highly connected market, but digital behavior does not mean that every traveler completes the full journey alone. People move between sources during the planning process. They may first discover a destination through social media, an article, or a content creator, and then they compare the flights and hotels online, and finally they might ask a friend or a travel advisor for confirmation. This is why trust remains very important for us. So content creators are especially relevant because they combine digital reach with the feeling of a personal recommendation. Their followers see how the trip works, what the experience feel like, and also whether the destination is right for someone like them. Travel advisors also remain important, particularly for premium or complex trips. Their role is not simply to make a reservation. Their value is explaining the region, reducing uncertainty, and helping the traveler connect several destinations. So digital channels and travel advisors should not be treated as competing strategies. They solve different needs. Also, digital content creates discovery and comparisons. So OTAs make individual components easy to purchase, and advisors add expertise and confidence when the itinerary requires more planning. Can we go to the next? Yeah, thank you. Mexico is already one of the most important international travel markets for the United States. It is important to separate total visitation from air visitation. The total figure includes the very large land market between Mexico and the US. But even when we look only at air travelers, the size of the Mexican market is close behind the United Kingdom, the largest overseas air market. This is often a surprise for the US partners because Mexico is sometimes viewed mainly as a neighboring or border market. And in reality, it is also a major international flight market with strong spending and a long history to travel to the US. For New England, the situation is more modest, but is improving. Mexico was the region 9th largest long-haul flight market in 2019 and is now the 7th. The movement is encouraging, but it also shows how much room remains to grow. Mexican travelers are already going to the US. Most are simply choosing other states and cities. Our challenge is therefore not to convince Mexicans to visit the United States for the first time. It is to show experienced United States travelers why Boston and New England should be part of their next trip.
And we can go to the next one. So Mexican demand is relatively close to travel, and many travelers remain open to different destinations while doing research for travel. This creates a valuable moment of influence. A traveler might know what they want to visit in the United States without having the final decision, or the final destination decision. Maybe a strong article, a key influencer trip, an airfare promotion, or a recommendation from a travel advisor can still change that decision. However, there is important difference between the consumer booking window, which we know that for the Mexican market it's really short, and the preparation required by the travel industry to put that together in just one journey. Mexican traveler might confirm a trip within 3 months, and most of the time very often just 1 month prior traveling. But New England partners and travel companies need to prepare earlier. They need product, rates, itinerary ideas, clear information, of course, ready before traveler begins doing that searching. A regional New England journey also requires more education than a familiar United States city break, as the examples that we have provided, maybe cities as Miami, Los Angeles, etc. Travelers need to understand the seasons, the distances between destinations, and which experiences can be combined. This is why cultural experiences, local food, nature, small towns, and regional character must be part of that storytelling from the very beginning. For consumer marketing, we need consistent visibility and timely promotions. For trade, we need early education and ready-to-sell product. This is very important, especially for the tour operators. So if we wait until traveler starts searching to develop the itinerary, we have already missed the best opportunity. We can go to the next one. One of the important findings is that the Mexican travelers are highly independent, but they are also interested in visiting several destinations during the same trip. We have seen this, especially after the pandemic. So this means that multi-city traveler does not only necessarily mean an organized tour or an escort circuit. Travelers may combine flights, hotels, car rentals, train experiences in a flexible itinerary. That behavior is a strong match for New England, of course. The region offers several destinations within relatively short distances, but the traveler needs to understand how they connect. The opportunity is to present the region in simple models. For example, Boston can be combined with Newport, the Maine coast, maybe the mountains of New Hampshire, or the landscapes and beautiful towns in Vermont. The exact itinerary can change according to the season for each different traveler, or maybe depending on traveler interests. We also see a strong potential among couples, adult family groups, and also younger group of friends and younger generations interested in outdoors, in entertainments, in sports, etc. These travelers want variety, but they also want that the trip feels easy and comfortable. New England offers many of the experiences that Mexican travelers already enjoy: entertainment, shopping, food, outdoor activities, and nightlife. The problem is not the lack of relevant of experiences in the region. The problem is that most of the travelers do not connect those experiences with New England. Massachusetts, as we see in numbers, has some recognition because of Boston, of course, because of the direct connection, but other states require more explanation and awareness in the market. So therefore, the strongest target for us is an experienced, higher income traveler who wants something different from the traditional trip to the US. We can go to the next one, and I'm going to pass it to Gabriel again.
The nonstop connection gives Boston an essential role as a getaway to the region. Boston is a recognizable name in Mexico. Travelers may know the city through its universities, US history, sports teams, films, culture, or even family connections. This familiarity makes Boston a comfortable place to start, a comfortable starting point. But Boston should not be presented only as a final destination. It can be the entry point to a larger journey. The regional opportunities to add seasonal, multi-state experience around the city. A traveler can begin with Boston's culture, dining, shopping, and sports, and then continue to the coast, mountains, small towns, and countryside. This approach also helps us support the non-stop route. A stronger trip does not only create more passengers, it can create more nights and more spending across the region. The key is to make the extension feel simple. We need to explain where travelers can go, how long the journey takes, whether they need a car, and which combination makes sense in each season. Boston gives Mexican travelers the confidence to begin the trip. New England gives them the reason to stay longer, explore more, and return in another season.
So going into the industry opportunity and our conversations with Mexican tour operators, travel agencies show that the interest in the region is there. The interest in New England is getting like more and more over again, but the current product does not reflect the full level of interest because of most of the companies have a still limited knowledge in the region, and honestly it's just easier for them to say what they already know. When they sell Boston, they usually combine with places that they already know and understand, such as destinations as, of course, New York, sometimes Washington, D.C., or even Quebec. This does not mean that they are rejecting New England. It means that they need help moving beyond the most familiar combinations. Partners want to understand the region more clearly. They ask which states should be combined, how many nights are needed, how travelers can move between destinations, and which seasons are best for each itinerary. They also need practical booking path. Inspiration is, of course, useful, but an operator cannot sell a beautiful idea without rates, without transportation information, the DMC contacts, and reliable local support. So our work is moving from general destination education to product development. This can include Boston lead, seasonal models, multi-state flight and drive itineraries, and connections with receptive operators or DMCs. We can go to the next one. So this is like channel priorities for us and how to provide different opportunities within the travel trade. The most important and immediate opportunity begins with air access, of course. So Aeromexico connects the market directly with Boston, but also brings Mexican travelers from other Mexican cities to the main network, which is Mexico City, of course. They also have Aeromexico vacations that can combine the flight with hotels and create a simple path of purchase. OTAs, being such a digitalized market, are another immediate opportunity because Mexican travelers are already comfortable researching and booking individual trips components online. These platforms can provide a scale before a complete regional circuit exists. And product development opportunity. Of course, premium and luxury advisors are equally important, but in a different reasons. They can explain what the OTA can add. They can explain why the itinerary works, which property is right, and how create a seamless experience across several states. And finally, traditional tour operators remain relevant, but they require more product development. Training is only the first step. They need commercially realistic routes that can be quoted and booked. Cruises are a more targeted opportunity. Boston can support pre and post cruise stays that introduce travelers to the city and nearby regional experiences. We have few examples here, as Mundo Cruceros y Viajes, Now Travel Connection, which has a more boutique and premium role that can also help with tailored extensions. So the priority is clear: use Aeromexico OTAs and premium advisors for near-term conversation and opportunities, while continuing to develop product with tour operators and cruise partners. And I'm gonna go in deep in the next slide. So Aeromexico and digital distribution offer the shortest path to meaningful scale. Aeromexico is more than a transportation partner. It has a strong brand, a loyal program, and a network that connects Mexico City with important regional markets across the countries. These create opportunities for seasonal promotions, joint content, and campaigns that can explain why Boston and New England are worth the trip. Aeromexico Vacations can reduce another important barrier that combines flying and hotels in one purchase. Over time, it can also introduce regional extensions across Boston. And on the other side, OTAs make it easier for Mexican travelers to book online, as they already do. They can compare flights, hotels, car rentals, and they can make decisions close to the travel date, as we know that Mexico is a very last minute market. So the opportunity is not wait until every tour operator has a complex city itinerary. Digital platforms can begin by selling components that already exist. And we can go to the next one. So also, as we have spoken about the importance of that luxury audience and luxury travelers for the Mexican market, luxury is often misunderstood when we discuss the Mexican market. For this traveler, luxury does not only mean famous brands or very expensive trips. It is often about personal attention, comfort, access, privacy, and a strong sense of place. This is, of course, great news for New England, because we can combine a beautiful country inn with excellent service that can be a luxury product. A private visit with a local expert, a chef-led dining experience, or a carefully planned coastal journey can be more valuable than a traditional luxury label. Premium advisors understand these type of travelers in particular. They know their preference, previous trips, family needs, and expectations, so they can recommend a property, an experience that we will never be able to find through a simple online research. They can also explain the practical details for a multi-state trip, transportation needs, travel time, seasonal differences, and the right piece for each traveler. So travel advisors need confidence before they can recommend a new region. They need training, they need sample routes, they need reliable contacts, a clear booking guidance, and they also need to determine how this experience can match for each client. So for affluent FIT travelers, the advisor's expertise is part of the product. The more complex and distinctive the journey becomes, the more valuable the expertise is, of course. And the next one with tour operators is tour operators, as I mentioned, but also cruise specialists are important opportunities, but they will need more time to develop. For tour operators in particular, destination training creates interest, but training alone does not create sales. Of course, the next step must be a product that they can be priced, promote, and of course, book by travelers. Our conversations with key tour operators as Travel Shop or Mega Travel show this current situation. The interest is there. They have product for Boston in particular, but they need to understand wider the region, how they can mix each of the destinations. We need to help these partners move from Boston-only programs into realistic regional routes. This includes identifying the right receptive partners and explaining which combinations are commercially practically for them. And on the other side, cruises offer a most focused opportunities. We know that travelers begin or end a cruise in Boston, and we can add 2, 3, or even 4 nights before or after sailing. These extensions can combine Boston with coastal, with culinary or cultural experiences without requiring a long regional itinerary. This is a good way to introduce New England to a traveler that already has a reason to visit Boston. These channels may provide immediate scale, but they may not provide immediate scale as Aeromexico or OTAs can do, but they can become valuable with consistent development. So the objective is not to create a small number of strong sellable products, rather than many ideas that remain only in the inspirational way. And we can go to the next one.
And what about the building consumer demand? Well, building distribution is only one part of the work. We must also create consumer demand. New England still has a significant awareness challenge in Mexico. Many travelers know Boston, but they do not understand New England as a region or recognize everything it offers. Established travel, luxury, and lifestyle media remain important because they provide credibility. They can introduce the region through strong editorial stories about culture, food, design, nature, sports, and distinctive accommodations. However, Mexico is also a young and highly digital market. Millennials and Generation Z use social media and video throughout the travel journey, which makes content creators essential. The people shown here represent different ways to tell the story. Some focus on travel, while others connect with audiences through food, fashion, sports, and luxury lifestyles. We should not select creators only by follower count. We must look at their audiences, how their audiences live, their engagement, their credibility, and whether their storytelling style matches with the experience. A culinary creator may be the best partner for a seafood and local chefs. A sport creator may introduce Boston through its teams. A luxury creator may explain the value of a country inn or a personal coastal experience. Media creates desire. Creators make the destination feel relevant and personal, and trade provides the path to purchase. We need all three working together to make the whole strategy works.
And in the next one, you will see a couple of examples of very recent publications within different consumer outlets, in particular, key newspapers, magazines as Elle or Cosmopolitan, bigger consumer outlets as Yahoo, and some more luxury niche as Glitz can be. We are trying to find that mix between showcasing the full destinations that travelers can find in the region, maybe aligning to key editorial topics as train routes, exploring fall foliage, or summer in New England, and a road trip, and a summer through road trip, as you will see in the LPs, or showcasing Boston around the World Cup, as it happens in Escapadache, which is a travel supplement. in Mexico. So we are trying to showcase the variety that you can do, not only in the Midway, which is of course Boston for us, but how you can expand that trip to a full region with multiple opportunities for different type of travelers that can match into that next trip to the US for Mexican travelers. And we can go to the next one and promise that it will be only two slides so we can discuss more in deep or any questions that you have of the market and opportunities that we can bring to the table. So we know that attracting the traveler is important, but the experience after arrival also matter. So you will find here some topics that the goal is not to redesign every hotel or attraction for the Mexican guests. It's just to remove unnecessary friction and make visitors feel understood. So, of course, Spanish is valuable at some moments when confusion can affect the experience, maybe with booking, arrival, transportation, policies, safety information, and detailed experience description. A full Spanish translation is not always necessary. Maybe a welcome page, a mobile guidance, or a simple document without the essential information can make a meaningful difference. It is also better to ask about preferences than make cultural assumptions. So, for example, Mexican travelers often travel as a couple or families, or maybe adult family groups, and some celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, or other milestones. So a short pre-arrival message can help the property understand room arrangement, dining plans, and special needs, and especially on the dining options. In Mexico, we feel more dining decisions are very different to the US. We feel more comfortable when dining later. So for us, lunch is around 2-3 p.m., which we know that it's late in the US. We travel with a lot of bags. Shopping is a very important portion of most of the trips, especially to the US. So this regional logistic or understanding of the market can help you to bring a best service to that markets without stereotypes. It comes from clear information, personal attention, and willingness to ask what each guest needs. And we can go to the final one, to the next one. So our role in Mexico is to connect New England with media, airlines, operators, and travel advisors. We build awareness, provide training, and share market feedback. So to do this, we need, of course, all of the current information, photos, videos, clear information on rates, dates, transportation, and booking, and experiences that can be combined into regional itineraries. Our goal is to make New England easy to imagine, to plan, and book for the Mexican travelers. Boston opens that door, but a strong regional offer encourages travelers to explore all of the 6 states and all of the amazing experiences that travelers can do in the whole region. And that's it on my end. I don't know if we have any question, anything that you can add on your end, Michelle?
Yes, thank you so much, Karen, Gabriel. That was a great market update and really useful tips for how to host the travelers from Mexico. I wanted to point out that on your media coverage wins that you showed on that slide of different Boston and New England articles, a lot of those images came from our media hub on our website. So, and that is a free image asset downloading tool used by tour operators and journalists around the world. So anyone who's on this, if you have images that are without any rules or restrictions or expiry or anything or credit, because there's no way we have the staff to govern its usage. But if you have images that we can use, we will post an upload link in our site. You can also get to it in the how to partner section of our website as well. So yeah, we're always looking for images and short videos that can be used freely by different journalists. And then talking about the importance of inbound operators too. I know that we've had some meetings where we talked about our Shared Skies program, and a lot of the operators do have some connectivity to John View. And Caro and the team did connect, make an introduction to some key operators to tour mappers, and we've been talking with some luxury DMCs and inbound operators such as Blue Lobster is another one, or I know Joshua's Worldwide has some programs as well. And for group, they're looking for a regional specialist. Wolf Tours is one of them that has come up a few times. So certainly make sure you have relationships with an inbound operator and you have that conversation about the work that they're doing in this market to make sure that they have those relationships. Yeah, is there, I guess I do have some, and also on that topic of inbound operators, ATI, which is the largest US based one, will be hosting our next webinar, which will take place at 9 a.m. on September 16th. And registration for that, it's free. And that's also on our website. So you're encouraged to tune into that and find out their connectivity around the world and how you can best work with companies like ATI. So I'll pause there if there's anyone who has any questions. I don't see any. Yeah, so I think with that, yeah, so thank you so much. And I guess another couple quick updates from Discover New England. DI, Destination International, and Brand USA host a ton of free webinars for those of you who really do like to tune into webinars, and we try to post those on our website as well under upcoming trainings. And then we have a couple sales missions planned, one for Italy for January and the other for UK and Ireland in June. And we do have spots available for those. There's limited capacity, so we encourage anyone who wants to come to commit early. So with that, I think we're good to wrap up, and I want to thank everyone for attending. Wish you a great rest of your week. Oh wait, Stacy has that. I'm sorry, come back. Stacy has raised a hand. I don't know if she can enter the Q&A.
Hold on just 1 second, and I will give her permission to speak. There you go. Go ahead, Stacy.
Hello, everyone. This is Stacy Thornton on the global sales team at Meet Boston. And really, I just raised my hand because we do have a question related to with Monterey. It's from one of our luxury hotels. It's Anastasia from the Mandarin Oriental Boston. Anastasia, thank you for joining. And she's noting that, our only direct flight connection to Boston and the region is through Mexico City. And what we'll have to do for this question about developing direct connections from Monterey, we can check with Logan and Massport. I have not heard anything of that kind. But Carolina, Gabrielle, do you want to comment on other connections to Boston from Monterey directly? Like, would they connect through another US city to get here faster? Do you know anything about those flight connections?
Well, Monterey has a strong connection to, of course, Texas, which is close to them by car, but they also have routes to New York, which can be easier for them to connect to Boston and the region. Also, it's our highest income market in Mexico. It's the people with money that lives in Monterey. So if you are seeing people from Monterey in Boston or the rest of the region, it's common. They love to travel. They have the money to do that. And something that we have seen, especially on Brand USA side, and how other destinations are growing, and states that we didn't even had in mind that it was an opportunity for the market. They don't care about taking connections. If they want to go to a place, if they want to go to Montana, for example, they just will go. So they don't care if they have to connect through Atlanta or through New York, which will be the closest one, and the one that has direct connection to Monterrey, they just will do it. That's why Monterrey will be it's a key market for all of the US destination. It doesn't matter if they have direct connectivity or not. We know that Aeromexico is still trying to expand connection to the US. 2026, it was a challenging year for the airlines in Mexico, but I'm pretty sure that Monterrey will be one of those routes that they will try to promote, to grow, and to bring as a new opportunity. Aeromexico in particular, they try to expand routes from Mexico City, and other airlines as Volaris and Viva Aerobus, which is the airline for Monterrey, they try to open secondary routes from either Guadalajara, the Bajío area, or Monterrey. But I don't know if I answered that question, Anastasia.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we'll connect with her on with any more questions that she has, and we can reach out via email.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, any other question that you have, or any specific insight that you need about not only the Mexican market, but a region, maybe a specific travel agency that we can connect, or a tour operator, we can definitely do that and work that way.
Yeah, and I will mention, I have worked with Mandarin Oriental, and they do host their own fam trips and their own trainings and in the Mexico market. And just a reminder to everyone listening that Discover New England, Meet Boston, we do have, a few times a year, different international, different global markets, including Mexico, where we're bringing in product managers through the Discover New England Summit, which is next year in Connecticut, and into the state, into the region, and also into Boston through different other partnerships. So there are ways to get involved and to connect directly with various personnel from the airlines, the travel agencies, and the tour operators through your partnership with our organizations.
Thank you, Stacy. And just registration opens in October for that. We sent the save the date out in our latest newsletter, and we have populated the conference website pages. So please mark that day. It sells out every year. So if you are interested, make sure you register early. And we also encourage folks to team up and share a booth and share an appointment book if you have businesses that you can partner with, so if there's an experience or another property or so forth. That's a way to get more folks to participate. I don't see any more. Carrie, do you agree? I think mine's been last time.
Yeah, I don't see any more coming in, and thank you for everyone who has stayed on and listened and participated in this. This has been an absolutely fantastic update about Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you. And the webinar will share the recording afterwards. And of course, any other questions come back. We want to be available always, so don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. All right. Thank you so much, Kara and Gabriel.
Thank you.